Let's loom along together. Today we're making an easy loom knit ornament. This one is made on a 12 peg loom. You can use this flexi loom and add more pegs, or you can use a Bloom Loom, Nifty Knitter Loom, or other brands with 12 pegs. You can work with a medium worsted weight yarn, or you can add on a bulky weight yarn. You of course need your loom tool, and then you're going to need a foundation of a Christmas ornament. This one is a little over 2.5 inches, and all the information for the supplies you need are going to be down in our free blog link down below. Let's begin and make our loom knit ornament today. Welcome to Good Knit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. For all of your supplies and a right and a left-handed video tutorial, please click down below in the video description to get those links and free blog. If you would like to get our written instructions ad-free, you can get them on our website for a discount, or you can go on our Ravelry and Etsy stores. All those links will be down in the blog link below. To make our ornament, we're going to start with a modified drawstring cast on. That's how we get this part here. And then we're going to work in the diamond lace stitch or figure 8 stitch for most of all these rows. And then we'll do a drawstring bind off. So that's the essential pattern. So let's begin on the modified drawstring cast on. Let's begin with the modified drawstring cast on. On my loom here, I do not have a starter peg, and having a starter peg or one that's on the outside, a little knob, is beneficial, but you can do it without one. We're going to show you how to do that today. I do have one of my pegs marked with a stitch marker, and this is going to be my peg 1. The one next to it is going to be my last peg, which is where I'm going to put my slip knot. So if you need to set up a flexi loom like this so you can see it, that's great. If you have a Bloom Loom or one that has a starter peg on it, you're going to move your stitch marker over to that number 1 peg, and then your starter peg is going to be about right here. Okay, so begin with a slip knot, however you like to make yours. I'll just make mine. Wrap my yarn around my finger twice, take the back loop over the front once, and do it one more time, up and over. You can replay that if you need. We're going to drop this slip knot down into the middle of our loom, okay? And then we're going to bring it up, and then you're going to hook it on your starter peg, or you can put it on the last peg. And we're going to move in this direction. Again, we have a right and left-handed version, and if you like to work in this direction, use this video. If you like to work in the opposite direction, go look up the other video. It doesn't matter if you're right or left-handed, it'll go in the direction that you like. Okay, so when we begin, we're bringing our yarn up from the middle, as you see, and we're going to go around that last peg and the first peg. Now we're going to skip every other peg. So you're on peg, last peg, which is 12, and then 1, we're going to go behind peg 2, in front of peg 3, behind peg 4, in front of peg 5, and so on. So you just keep skipping 1 peg and rotating your loom around. And then you come to the next to last peg. Here it's on top. We're going to go on top of peg, or this last peg here, and you have 2 loops. Just ignore those 2 loops for now. And we're going to go to peg 1, and it also has 2 loops. So these last 3 pegs have a loop in front of them. We're going to knit over the very first peg only. So knit over, bottom over top. And now we're going to keep rotating around, and it's going to pick up and put 1 loop on every other peg. And then the next peg is going to have 2. So see, there's 2 loops here. Go ahead and knit over. Okay, that's peg 3. And pass this one, knit this one over, and keep going. All right, so next to last peg, we're going to knit that over, and now we have 2 loops here on the bottom and 1 on the top for the very last peg. Now you can lift both of these up and over. If you need to do one at a time, that's fine. So I'm going to grab this one, and then this one. Okay, and then there we go. So now we are cast on, and we can begin our rounds. So for our main stitch, we're going to use the diamond lace stitch, which other people know it as a figure 8 stitch. So we're going to go behind peg 1, we're slipping peg 1, so we're going behind that, and we're going to wrap around, it's like an E-wrap, peg 2, and go behind peg 1 and wrap around that. So we're actually E-wrapping both of these pegs, and we're going to knit off, or knit over. Okay, so the yarn is coming from peg 1. We're going to go behind peg 2. So we're going to call these 1 and 2 over here. So we're going to skip 1. We're going to go around the second one and then come back and wrap around the first one and knit off. So basically each peg is getting wrapped twice. It's just that you skip 1, knit 1, and then come back. So we're here behind this peg. We're going to skip 1. We're going to wrap around the next one, come back, pick up that stitch that we missed, and knit off. Again, we're behind this peg. We're going to skip the next one, go around the one after, come back to the skipped peg, and knit off. So you're going to keep doing this until you come to the beginning, and you just continue in that way several times. So you're going to want to write down how many rounds that you've done. You can just do a little tick mark, or if you have a stitch counter or marker, a row counter, you can click off on that. So go ahead and go around and around, and then we'll come back and we'll bind off together, and I'll show you how to finish your ornament. So it's really easy. Just going to do a couple more here. You've got the yarn coming from this one. You're going to skip 1, go around 1, come back and pick this one up. So like this, just makes a figure 8 pattern. This is why it's called figure 8. So we come around, make that 8, just like that. And then I like to put my fingers through here and hold it while I'm knitting off to keep that tension. One more, go skip, go around, and come back and knit. Okay, so I hope you understand that. If you need to go back and rewind, fast forward, or slow-mo, you can do that. Do 8 rounds, pause your video, and we'll come back. If you have decided to add on any of these because you've got a much bigger ornament or ball to wrap around, then you might need a few more rows. You might need 9 or 10 rows or rounds, and that's okay. So you can use this as your basic builder for making ornaments or wrapped balls, decorative glass, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm back to round 1. I've just finished round 1. Now we're on round 2, or we're finishing this row here. This is my last 2 stitches, and it always incorporates this first stitch again to actually complete that round. Okay, so when you come back, you're going to come back with it ended at this stitch here. Okay, pause your video and I'll see you there. So I've got my 8 rounds here, and you can see that I've pulled out my knitting, so you can really see that pattern develop. And of course my tail is still hanging on. You can go ahead and take that off, or it'll come off when we finish this last part. So I just leave it on. We're going to bind off with a drawstring. So let's go ahead and grab our working yarn here, and we're just going to measure around the loom, just wrapping around the loom here, and leave a long string or tail. Cut that off, and we're going to pull this through each loop. So I'm going to grab my tool, and instead of threading it with a needle, this is what we do. It's just a lot easier. We're going to pull the working yarn or the tail up through each loop all the way. So just pull all the tail through, and now you can take that loop off, that stitch off peg 1, move on to the next peg, pull up and through, and take that loop off, go to the next one, pull up and through, and take it off. So continue all the way around the loom. I don't pull tight here because we're still going to put our ornament in the middle of this opening. So if you pull tight, you may have to make your opening a little bit bigger. So make sure you have a long enough tail here. All right, we're on our last one. And that one has 2 loops on there. So I'm going to take that off and go ahead and pull it on through. And now we have our bind off at the top that's nice and loose. And this area here with this drawstring that we can pull on. So you can actually take that loop out and then grab your ornament. We're going to start putting it through. All right, so I've got my ornament. Again, if you have a bigger size, you may have needed a few more rounds. And when you take it off here and you put it onto your loom to test, or onto your ornament to test, you may decide, oh, I've got too many rounds. You can simply pull that off, or you may want to pull it up and over this part here, which is what I actually like. So let me show you some samples before we do it. So this one right here, I like to actually cover that part, and then I'm going to use my tails, the one from the beginning, I'm going to weave it all the way up here, and I'm going to make my loop, and it just naturally comes on here. It's really nice. I don't have to have one of those metal hooks. Or if you don't have enough rows because you used a thicker yarn, like right here, you can actually see my base of my, where the, I don't even know what this part's called, but at the top of the ornament, you can see it better. And then I've just put my yarn up and round and through here to make a loop, or you can cut those off and then put a loop on top, whatever you like to do. I just figured it's hard to see because this is so fuzzy. So, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just slip our ornament through here, make sure it's a nice big stretchy opening. And it may be a little snug. Remember, if you got a glass ornament, you're gonna wanna be careful. And I just use my nails and blunt part of my finger to pull that up. You can see how it's snug, and I just kind of massage it up, pull it up gently, because you want it to fit not loosely, just right snug around it. There we go. All right, and before I pull any more, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the bottom. So we're just going to pull on our drawstring. This is that modified drawstring Caston. Pull tightly, and then that is the bottom, the base, and now we can just pull more on our knitting. I'm just pushing down on this and pulling up on the sides here. And then to close it, we're just going to pull on our drawstring at the top, and it will finish the rest of it for us. So you can pull it tight and go right around here and show this part right here, or you can pull up and over and cover. So there's a little bit of extra fabric here, and you can pull it up and over that hardware if you like. I just have to work at it a little bit because I actually kind of like the look. You may not like it. Anyway, I do. When I pull it up, it just kind of nicely covers that up, and I get more of the color on my tree. And then now what I do is, it's already snug. I'm going to take this string here, and I'm going to pull it up and follow these stitches all the way up to the top and then create a loop. So I'll show you how to do that. So I've got my tapestry needle, and I'm at the bottom of my ornament. Just going to go through one of these loops again just to make sure it's snugged up. Okay, you don't really have to tie a knot down here. Nobody's trying to mess with this thing. And I'm just going to go and wrap around some of these loops here and follow the stitches up. So I'm just going underneath the stitch and pulling up sort of a whip stitch fashion and following the pattern. And it hides pretty well. All the way up to the top. Okay, there we go. So now we have our 2 ends, and I can pull this needle off, and then you just decide how long you want this loop for your tree. And I'm going to hold it up here and make a knot. And I like to do like a surgeon's knot. I go around, actually, instead of just pulling through once, I go through another time and then pull down to the level that I want. Okay, I like it nice and long. And then I'm going to do another one. Hold that opening and do it again. So cross this over and I'll go through not one time, but another time. And this makes a really nice secure knot. Pull down on that. And that knot is not going to slip out. If you've ever had a knot that just keeps slipping, this is how to secure it. It's a little bit bigger knot, but it stays. So now I'm just going to cut it because that's really going to get masked by the tree. And that's it. So now you have your easy loom knit ornament, and it didn't take you all day to do it. And you can make several. In fact, I suggest that you could keep these year to year. And if you're someone who likes to change the color of your ornaments, you change the theme of your tree, and you're tired of these, you want to keep the ball and not have to spend extra money, you could just take these off. You just snip a few parts at the top and let it pull right off, and then make it another color. Like say you want to do a blue theme tree next year, or a purple or a pink or something, you could totally do that. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial here at Good Knit Kisses on how to make your loom knit ornaments. Have a great day, happy knitting and crochet, and Merry Christmas. Bye everyone. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.